90% of businesses will never make it past year 1, year 2, and then the statistics just get smaller and smaller the longer we talk about in terms of time. The only way out is with...
Don't try and be someone that you're not and be a fake. You're going to live an unhappy life and always be thinking, oh, how should I be doing something which isn't even you.
What's the best piece of advice you have ever received?
The best piece of advice was, I am the king of cold calls. The purpose of my cold call when I'm calling is...
Welcome to the Creative Grid, the podcast for creative entrepreneurs who are hungry to have more impact, make more money, and become successful in every area of life. I'm your host, Nelson, and your journey to mastering life and business begins in 3, 2, 1. Welcome back to another episode, fam. Strap in. Today we have a legendary guest. He's actually one of our clients and the host of the Get Keen podcast. With almost 20 years of experience in the real estate industry, he's been able to build an 8-figure business that has made over $1 billion in sales of real estate. Yes, that's right, with B, billions. And after having such an incredible business, he was like, I need to help other people in my industry to do the same. Hence why he started Plum Partners, which basically helps other real estate agents build their own empire. So it's safe to say that he's the king of real estate agents. And in the streets, they call him the cold calling slayer. Please welcome the legend, the one and only, Mr. Daniel Lee.
Hey, settle down. Settle down. Oi, can you get them out of here?
Yo, chill.
Mate, that was a great intro. Thank you.
Welcome to the pod. How are you feeling today?
I've been excited to be here. Yeah.
What did we do just before the podcast up there with the team?
Mate, we fired ourselves up with a push-up challenge. We went for 50. Who can do 50? I got to 66. I think that's actually a PB, realistically. I don't know if I've ever done 66. But I had the whole team cheering me. I had to keep going. It was sick.
And this is what happens. This is actually a great lesson in here for anyone trying to build something great. You have to surround yourself with people that are pushing you, right? And pushing your limits of what you believe that is 100%. Possible.
I mean, being around people that are, number one, got you back cheering you, that helps you to push further. But being around people that are pushing themselves and being the best will push you as well. I always relate that to like a game of tennis. You ever played tennis with someone that sucks?
It's horrible.
Do you like, you can't play yourself. You suck.
Yeah.
When you're playing against someone that can't hit the ball, it's like you run over and then you do a shit shot yourself. That's the same in everything. If you're surrounded with like people that are no good and lazy, unmotivated, it just has an effect on your performance.
Absolutely. We have a coffee coming for you, Ops
cool.
Manager.
All the people at Vibes, just vibes in the name. Good choice of name, because it is what you guys are, full of vibes.
World-class customer service. That's what we do.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's good.
You've been able to build an incredible business. What does it take to build an 8-figure business?
First of all, well, I mean, I've only ever built one style of business, which is real estate. And, you know, it started as that. And I guess I'll just relate it back to my journey. So I started in real estate as a junior, you know, sales associate. I just wanted to be the best. I wanted to be the number one agent in my early 20s. I wanted to make a lot of money. I knew I could do that in sales because I'd done a few other jobs in sales. I won't go into that. But I wanted to be the best agent. So the first thing was just being the best at, you know, that industry. And, you know, I can't ever say that I got to the best of the best, but I was a really good agent at one point for many years, probably about 10 years at a very high level, until the point where, you know, I was making enough money. I had enough of a reputation to just go to that next level and say, you know, I want to invest in myself. I want to invest in my own team and scale my skills, to go to the next level. And I love leadership. I think if you're going to be in any business, right? Any business has sales attached to it, right? Every single business is sales. But if you can be good at two things, that is number one, sales, number two, leadership. So being able to find great people, keep great people, and make great people even better, and for them to have the same mission as you, like understand the mission, have the same values as you, and to appreciate what they're a part of, that's going to make all the difference, because you can't do it all on your own. That's the biggest thing. When you say you've built, it's like, yeah, I've helped to build. I've helped to build with all these other great people that have helped me to build. That's the reality of it.
I love how you also split the rewards with everyone, right? Even though you were the one that started the thing and everything came from your passion, which is usually, how it comes from the founder and the CEO in itself. And one thing that you just mentioned there that I resonate so much with is that you started from the very low rankings. I resonate so much with that because that's what my journey has been like building my own business as well. I started, being the videographer, just the guy that knew how to handle a camera, and then you become the editor, and then you're the filmmaker, the guy that can shoot and edit the thing together, but you don't understand any of the strategy, how this helps. So you're pretty much a commodity in the market. And then that leading to understanding a little bit more of the strategy behind things and the marketing aspect. How does your videos fit within the goals of your client and the business? And one thing leads to another, and suddenly you have, a team that you're passing all of that information
Yeah,
to.
exactly. It's, you've got to understand all those little bits. And I think probably most of the really successful business owners started at the bottom, and they just learned more and more along the way. And, as you go up, you bring people along to delegate those tasks that you used to do, and you find the right people that are going to fit the tasks that need to be done really well. And yeah, mate, it's an awesome journey. It's so good to look back actually at like how far we've come. And I think starting a business really small and doing everything myself, just like what you said, you were the editor, you were the videographer. Well, when I started my business, I was everything as well. I was the admin person, I was the contracts person, the accountant, I was I organized all the marketing and website and suppliers and chase solicitors. I did all the admin work that like an office would do. And, I probably did it that way to save money in the beginning, but and I put a lot on myself to do that, but it actually taught me all the different parts of a real estate business that needed to be done. I could do it all. But you can only do so much by yourself. So then it's about growing it from there and getting the right people to help you scale.
When getting started as an entrepreneur and business owner, you have to be okay with being the guy that is going to wear all the hats. Just like you said, being with the guy that is taking care of the accounting, the negotiation, the sales, the marketing, delivery, fulfillment, customer journey, customer experience, success manager. So just know as well that as you progress, the quicker you can detach from especially the activities that are not moving the business forward, the faster you will be able to scale and see success with your business. There is a light at the end of the tunnel. Sometimes it just feels like there's no way out. Just know that there is, and if you can't see it, potentially is a good sign as well to try to get in the room with someone that is ahead of you, or a coach or a mentor. I've found there's a good solution to it. What are 3 skills that you believe are fundamental to be able to build an 8-figure business?
First one, I don't know if it's a skill. Well, I think it is, because you can train yourself. It's just, honestly, mindset is everything, right? Like, great people aren't necessarily smarter. They're not necessarily more talented. The most great people who have everything they just dedicate their life to it every single day. And, you know, I have days where all the time I struggle to wake up every day. It's one of my hardest things to do. And I know a lot of people say, oh, everyone struggles with that. Well, I feel like I personally really struggle with that. Like on the other hand, I can fall asleep like this, right? And that's a blessing, also a curse because I can never get through a movie at night. But so like that, but it is a great thing. I can lay down on the bed and I don't think and I don't stress. I can just go to sleep, and that's awesome. But on the other end of it, getting up is so hard, and sometimes I feel like I just don't want to do it. I'd love to have a day off. I'd love to just pretend like I've got something on and not show up to the office, and I could because I'm the leader. I could do that if I wanted to, but I never ever do it, and I never have. Not one day have I ever. I don't think in my entire working life have I never not gone to work just because I didn't feel like it, ever. And I think that's just the one thing ingrained in me that helps me to be great. I'm not that smart. I'm not like, I wasn't the most intelligent guy at school. I'm not the strongest, was never the strongest guy, was never the best at sport. But I just give it like if I ever do something, I'm dedicated to trying to be the best at it. And every day I wake up, and as much as I don't want to get up sometimes, I get up and do it. And then I realize about as soon as I've put my pants on, my big boy pants, and got out the door, I actually fucking love it. As soon as I'm getting into my day, I'm loving it. It's just like that time. You know, the hardest part about going to the gym is going to the gym. And then you're there and you're actually like working out and you're like, oh, this is great. And you finish and you feel fantastic, right? I feel the same about work. I don't feel like going, but I get there and then I'm actually really enjoying my day and I'm doing it and I work a full day and I feel so satisfied when I've done a full day and I feel like I've accomplished a lot. I feel confident. It makes me feel confident in myself. It makes me believe in myself, you know, and like if you just step up to the plate every day and work really hard towards the goal that you want to achieve, you're just going to continuously feel really good about yourself and want to keep doing it. So that's, you know, it's not really, I don't know if that's an answer, but it's a mindset, right? 3 skills that you need to have to build a business. Mindset. 2, you got to get good at sales, I think. You know, like sales is in everything. I don't care if you make pottery or you're a plumber or you're you know, or you're in real estate. Like I know certain jobs are like they're not sales, right? You wouldn't call a plumber sales, but there's still sales in a plumbing business. Why we are the best plumber for you, and marketing, and how do we get our service in front of people and sell people to, you know, call us if they ever have a plumbing issue, and why would someone choose this business to come and fix their shower head over this plumbing business? It's all sales. And so you've got to have just a continuous like mindset of how can we sell our service better to the public or to our consumers better than someone else. So you got to get good at that. And it doesn't matter what industry it is, everything is sales. The third thing is great at leadership. You got to be good at leadership. You know, you got to be fair. You've got to show up. You got to lead by example. You can't expect your team to care or your employees to care as much about the business as you do. You've got to care more about the business than anyone and show them what it takes to be successful every single day. You can't go and ask your team to work harder and work better and not show up yourself and be doing that. You're a fraud if you're doing that. I wouldn't listen to someone like that. I wouldn't want to be a part of an organization like that. I've been part of an organization where the leader would leave at 3 o'clock every day and sat on his ass and did stuff all. And after time, that wore me down and made me think like, I don't want to be here. I don't want to work in this place anymore. So if you want to build a great business, then you've got to lead by example, and and just be resilient, because it's never easy. You own your own business. It doesn't matter what it is. Every business owner is going to have trials and really testing times and cash flow problems and sacrifice and relationship troubles because they're working too much, and staff problems, and sometimes it feels like the world's falling in on you, and you're continuously tested. But you've just got to know that all of this is part of the journey, and everyone who's building a business faces challenges like this all the time. But you just keep going forward and know that it's going to be all right. Know that if I just keep going, just keep doing it, it's all going to be all right. And you know what? It always is. It always is. It always just ends up being all right as long as you just don't give up. Just never give up.
Guys, you better re-watch and re-listen to everything he just said. It's almost like we speak the same language, because those three skills that you mentioned, if you guys can master those three things, I completely agree. You're unstoppable. There's no way you won't win. There's no option to fail if you implement those three things. Of course, there's other skills that also will help you grow your business and succeed, but guaranteed those three things. If you can master those three, you're truly unstoppable. Mindset, that's the foundation of everything. And guess what? At the beginning, everyone will tell you that this is a bad idea. Everyone will doubt you. Everyone will tell you you're so stupid. Some of them will laugh. People that you will expect support from will tell you that, dude, that's silly, that won't work. And you're gonna continuously hear that for years, man. It's a non-stop thing. And you're gonna wake up some days and second guess yourself and think, are they right? Is this the right path? Should I just go back to the old thing I used to do, to the safe place, right? To the guarantee stuff. That's where you're tested in your mind first.
That's why. And usually when you're hearing advice from people like that, it's not that they all have bad intentions for you, but it's usually from people that have never stepped outside their own comfort zone. You know, who's giving you that advice? Someone who's worked the same job for 30 years at the same salary and has never taken a risk or a chance on themselves. They're going to give you that advice because they were never courageous enough to do something like that themselves.
They have set their own limitations.
Yeah, they've set their own limits, and they think that's the best thing, right? Because they don't know anything else. And they've never made that jump. Maybe sometime 20 years ago they thought about it and they didn't do it, and they went the safe approach. And that's if that's not what you want, then don't listen to that advice. You know, go talk to people that have done something like you, because I bet you they'll give you a totally different point of view.
Absolutely. And sales, second skill that you mentioned, sales, that's the oxygen of a business. And like Dan just said, it doesn't matter what you do. If you don't master sales in your industry, you will struggle and your business will go under. That's just how it is. And just look at stats. 90% of businesses will never make it past year 1, year 2. And then the statistics just get smaller and smaller the longer we talk about in terms of time. So the only way out is with sales. Sales, you're having a problem, I guarantee you 99% of problems can be solved with sales.
Absolutely. If you sell, the problems will sort themselves out, because you know, growth solves everything. It also creates a lot of problems, but it does solve everything. And growth comes from sales. So whatever it is that you do, it is sales.
If your business is in trouble, sell your way out of it. And the last thing that I want to touch in there is leadership. You're absolutely right. You have to create an environment that it is inspiring for people to be in, where they feel the push, where they feel like we're building something great. Nobody, especially A players, want to be in a space where everyone is lazy, where everyone is fat, where nobody's working towards building something incredible, where your work doesn't actually impact lives of others and has a significant importance in your surrounding or society. So if you want to build something great, you have to start with yourself being great
Yeah.
at it and create that environment for greatness to thrive.
Yeah, I think that's the most important thing in leadership is just be great yourself first. You can't lead people if you're not leading yourself in the way that you want to see people be for your business. You've got to be the best leader for yourself and show up for yourself first. That's number one. And then people will naturally just want to listen to you and be part of your life because you make them better in the way you behave, right? So part of leadership is just helping people. And I'm not the best leader. I'm not trying to say that I'm always just striving to be a better leader. It's an ongoing process. You're just not a great leader all of a sudden and you stay at the same. It's a continuous path of just getting better at it. And I still have so far to go, but it's something that I'm always thinking about. I'm very like conscious of how I'm influencing the people that I work with in a positive way. So which means if that's going to happen, I've got to show up for myself, number one. I've got to stay fit. I've got to sleep and eat well. I've got to show up every day and show everyone in my business that I'm working my ass off for this place and this is going to be something special. And I want to take you guys with me and I want to make you great. And I want you guys to make a whole lot of money as well. And if everyone feels like that, then you're going to have a great business. And, there's been times where I've got lost focus and lost certain people and I've had to recalibrate and go, okay, where can I get better and all of this. It's all a journey, but it's very, very important to be that great leader. And it's fun as well. I love being a leader. I love improving other people's lives. And that gives me fulfillment. It makes me better at what I do. And I think it's something that I think I can do forever. I don't want to sell houses forever. So I stopped selling houses and don't get me wrong, I made a lot of money selling houses and I probably made more money selling houses than I do right now. I did, in fact, make a lot more money selling houses than I do now, but selling houses wasn't going to be fulfilling for me for the rest of my life. I could see myself just absolutely just not liking it at all in another 5 years. And so I thought, I've got to get on this journey of helping others and being a leader and helping to build other leaders around me to be great. I could do that for the rest of my life. And that's what took me into my journey of starting Plum Partners, because I went through that challenge of not knowing what to do with myself. I was working in a business for about 10 years and the leadership was terrible. I wouldn't even call it leadership. There was none. The guys that owned the business did absolutely nothing. They were good for a bit in the beginning, and I didn't stay at that business for 10 years for no reason. In the beginning, it was good, but they dropped the ball. They got other priorities. They let the business sort of take care of itself, and they weren't doing anything to improve it, not helping people get better. And eventually, I was at a crossroads. What do I do? Like, I want to be part of something better than this. And I took the plunge to just go and do it myself. I didn't even think that I was going to do that, but I just really didn't have any other option. And then from building my own real estate business over 7 years and that becoming, fairly successful, I thought, I really wanted to get into the space. I started talking to a lot of other young guys and found out that there was quite a lot of other agents in a similar position that I was 7 years ago, where they're at an agency and they're doing really well, but they just know that it's not quite the right place for them. And they even kind of want to like have the idea, oh, should I do this myself? But they don't. And the reason that they don't usually the number one thing that stops someone from doing something like that is fear. Fear of what's on the other side, fear of failure, fear of going over and putting all their eggs in this basket of doing it themselves, and then the business isn't coming in, and then they lose all this money and they have to go back to being a sales agent back at their agency with their tail between their legs. That's the biggest fear of all of them. And it's a real fear. I had the same fear. I was scared shitless when I started my agency. I wasn't just like, yeah, I'm going to go and I'm going to crush it. I may have been like that on the outside, but on the inside, I was scared. But I knew I believed in myself, and I knew I had a good reputation, and I'd been doing it so long, I knew how to get business. And that's the main thing. If I know how to get business, that's the main thing. If you believe you know how to get the business, if you know how to sit in front of a client and help them understand that you are the person that's going to do the best job for them, and you're confident that that client would go, all right, let's go, let's do it. If you think you can do that, then you can start a business. All it is about, do you think you can get enough of that to make a certain amount of money, and then you can work the rest out after that. So then anyway, that fear stops a lot of people from going out on their own, which is why I then said, well, I want to get into this space of helping these people to make that move. Because once you make that jump and you do put all those eggs in your basket and you are the master of your own domain and you build your own business, mate, sky's the limit. The options open up and life gets way better if you're not part of something great already. And I'm not saying like
very important distinction in there. Very important.
Because here's the thing. I never would have even gone and started my own if I wasn't, if I was part of something great.
Yes.
I actually just wanted to be part of something great. That's what I wanted. And I thought I had that for a while. And I even invested in this business, and they put the golden handcuffs on me, and it kind of fucked me. And because I was promised things would happen that never happened. And like my whole dream was just to be part of this thing and like just grow with it. And I would have been perfectly fine with that. I would not be in with my own business if that company I was with had have taken me with them. I would have stayed there for the rest of my life. I swear to God, I would have. The only reason I left was because they backtracked on the agreement. They backtracked on their willingness to show me that they actually cared and that they wanted to take me with them. And that's when they lost me. I never spruik or sit here and say that everyone should go and start their own, because not everyone's cut out for it. Not everyone wants it. It is challenging in other ways, all right? It's a different thing to being part of another business, and not everyone wants that. But there are a certain amount of people that do want that, and it does align with them, and they are in a place that doesn't really care about them and isn't really looking out for the best interests for them and going to make the biggest success out of them. And if you're part of something like that, then lucky you. That's awesome. That's awesome.
I love that. I love that what you just said there, because essentially you were in an environment where greatness wasn't present, and you said, fuck this, I'm going to create it, right?
Yeah.
You went out of your way to make it happen because you couldn't find it for yourself, which is exactly what happened to me. But you have to, and that's where I want to make the clear distinction that you need to understand who you are, because the longer I do this, the more I realize that most people cannot do this. Most people cannot handle it. Being the king in the chessboard is the hardest thing ever. Yes, you get the biggest rewards. Yes, you have certain things that come with being the king. However, a lot of people will be just better off to be one of the pieces or positions that are next to the king.
Yeah.
Because you're gonna reap all the rewards. And if it's a good king, which is where it is important for you to know that you're in the right environment and the right place, so that you don't face yourself with being in the position where you've been promised things, or you've been, said that, oh, this we're gonna do this for you, or this is gonna happen for your future, whatever. And it's people that they don't deliver on the word that you should be aware of, and keep an eye out for that. That's why I'm me as a business owner, I'm big on keeping my word. When I promise something to my team, that's why I'm very careful. When I said that I'm gonna do something, not only to myself, but with my team too, because once I said it, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it, and I'm gonna take care of them more than anyone else. I will die for my team if I have to. That's the way I see it. I tell my team, like, if we're upstairs all working and someone jumps in and they're trying to get over, I'm gonna run in there and I'm gonna save all of you. You better fucking leave and continue to build vibes, because I'm gonna die here for all of you, because that's my duty as the leader and as the man in here and all this stuff. So you just need to know, like, and being able to assess, am I in an environment where great things can happen, and can I be an asset for this mission?
Yeah.
Do I believe in the leaders in here? If so, if that's the case, it'll be way easier for you to ride the wave with them, right? And just be a part of it and help building something great. And if not, and just know if you're actually made for this shit, because I'm telling you, it will be harder than what you think. You will wake up almost every day and not want to do the things that you want to do. There's no one motivating you. It's just you, your mind, and just finding motivation out of thin air, pulling miracles left and right when everyone's telling you that things are not possible. You have no idea how many times, and I'm guessing it's the same for you, you've been told something is not possible. And then you have to go and create a miracle out of nowhere and show people, I told you we could do it. I told you, right?
Yeah.
So just understand yourself, understand your nature,
Yeah.
understand who you are.
And you don't have to be the king. It's not about being the number one, being the I don't think I was necessarily naturally born in the beginning to be the guy who was running the business. And I swear it, if I had have found myself in another business where I was with a great king, I would have been happy to follow that king and ride the wave with them, as long as they were going to take me with them. I would have been happy with that, and being able to contribute all of my skills and my efforts towards making this mission that was someone else's mission to begin with, and me joining that mission. I would have been more than happy with that, as long as they were taking me with it, and that I felt like this is a great journey for me. Like, this is going to be great for me. So you don't have to be the king, but if you're not the king, then be with a great king.
Yes.
Or queen.
Absolutely. Or queen.
Or queen.
We all need a queen as well. One thing that I wanted to ask you is that you build an incredible business with a business partner. So what's your experience building an 8-figure business with a business partner?
Mate, I'm very fortunate, very lucky to be working with my best friend of 30 years. His name's Dylan. He's an absolute legend. And I guess I was really fortunate that I was living with him at the time when I decided that I was going to leave my business. And he had a business that he took over from his father, who passed away, and it was, film and television business. But that was getting very hard, and he decided to shut that down. And it was just the perfect match. And I said, mate, because he was going to look into, what am I going to do next? I'm going to sell this business. And I said, mate, I want to start my own, because I just decided, before I started my business, here's another thing. I didn't actually want to start my own. I actually looked around for other opportunities before I said, there's nothing better that I want. So I'm just going to do it myself. And someone gave me the encouragement to do it. And then anyway, so I went home and I said, Dylan, I'm going to start my own. I think you should do it with me. And he says, he had nothing else on. And he said, all right, let's do it then. And it's been an absolute blessing, because especially in those, always, because I got someone in the trenches with me who who is just as dedicated, who has a different skill set, who works just as hard as me. And right from the get-go, we had different skills. I was in sales with the property. So when we started the business, my job was just bring some money in. So I had to sell. I had to list properties. I had to just build relationships, get listings, and be the best sales agent I could be. But at the same time, we wanted to start a rental business. Now, I had no idea how to start a rental business. I just knew how to find the leads for the rental business. And I said, Dylan, it can't be that hard. You do that. And so we figured it out. We had no idea. We were very naive about how difficult it is to start and grow a rental business, much harder than sales. It's a very difficult business, and probably why they're worth so much. And it's still today, it's our biggest ongoing headache, and it's probably every real estate owner's biggest headache is their rent roll, because it's just a problems business. And there's a lot of emotions between tenants and landlords and this kind of thing. But I think such a blessing for me, and something that I value so much, is my relationship with my business partner. He's someone that I can always turn to, talk to. He's always in the trenches with me. When there's a problem in the business, which there always something, it's our problem. It's not just my problem. And I just like having that like companion to like go through the grind, the good times and the bad. It's like, it's just that extra strength, So that's, for me, it's been very, very important. And that's what I try and deliver to a lot of these agents that we partner with now, because it's not easy to find a business partner. And if Dylan wasn't there at the time, I would have just done it myself. And perhaps I would have, had other people come into my life later who would become partners. But a lot of people don't have a business partner. They don't have someone that they can just start this business with. And even if you do start a business with someone, you got to be very careful about who you're going to partner with, because it's like a marriage, and it's serious stuff. Like, if it doesn't work out, it's all going to collapse. It's going to, it might survive, but it's going to be really hard. Ever met someone who's just been through a terrible divorce and had to give up 50% and said, oh, well, that was easy? No, it freaking takes years off their life, and lots of recovery, and lots of bitterness, and lots of pain and anguish. And that's the same as if you partner up with someone in a business and they're not aligned with you, you don't have the same values with them, they don't work as hard as you, or the other way around. It'll eventually crumble, and it'll be very damaging to you and the business, most likely. So partnering up with someone is a great idea if you've got the right person to do it with. If you don't have the right person to do it with, and you're just doing it because you want to feel a safety net or have a warm blanket, and like, oh, I've got this person who wants to do it with me, but they're not actually aligned with you, like your vision, your mission, your work ethic, do not do it. Go just do it on your own. And you will find other people along the journey that you might be able to slip into the business who are aligned with you, who say, I like what you're doing, I want to be a part of this. And they could be that your business partner or partners could come in later in life, later into the business. You just do it yourself. And so what I'm trying to provide with Plum Partners is being that mentor, business partner. Of course, I can't be there like all day, every day for you, but someone to talk to, someone to turn to, someone to run ideas past, because every one of our partners is going to go through challenges, adversity, cash flow problems, market problems, staff problems, and so you just need people to talk to who can help you to make the right decisions, and just work through this stuff, because it's always going to happen. It's going to happen to everyone, and just having that support is what we're trying to give, and it's great. It's awesome. It's so good. It's like it's such a
Business
rewarding
partnership,
position to be in.
like you said, is what I've seen, because I build my thing, on my own with my team, right? But what I've seen from other people, business partnerships either are the best idea ever, or they become the worst
Yeah.
nightmare
Yeah.
if they don't succeed. So like Dan just said, be very careful who you do business with, who do you partner with, and really assess. What I've seen in relationships
Yeah.
like yours and others, it seems like it's the same pattern across the board. These different skills that come together to build this incredible thing, and they have the same horizon, the same goals. They believe in the same things, usually different personalities as well that complement each other. There's usually one that is a bit more of the face of the business. There's one that is making sure that everything in the back end is working. And there's one that is a bit more visionary. The other one is more manager style. So just keep an eye out with that to make sure that if you do get into a business partnership, that it actually
Yeah,
succeeds.
definitely. I mean, an example, recently I was talking to an agent and he's thinking about going out on his own, and he wants to partner up with this guy who's in the same office. And this guy that he wants to partner up with shows up 3 days a week. He's got another side hustle that he does, flipping homes, and he doesn't like the main guy, the guy that I'm talking to. He's in there grinding every day. He's doing a lot of sales. He's got a vision. He wants to build this business, and he wants to partner up with this guy that is hardly ever there and has got other priorities. And the only reason he wants to partner up with this guy is because he knows the guy's a good guy. It's his mate, and he knows him, and he's a good guy. But that's not enough.
That's not
That's
enough.
not enough. There's a lot of nice people out there, and I've got a lot of friends who I love to bits, but I would never, ever go into business with them. I would never go into business with them. I think 95% of my friends love them to bits. I would never go into business with them.
Absolutely.
All right? I'd rather just say, hey, mate, I love you as a friend, and I will always have you as a friend. But if I go into business with you, I'll end up hating you, and you'll end up hating me, and we'll drive each other crazy, and it's not going to work.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Especially if you're a high achiever, you want to make sure that that mission is going to get done. And with someone that is not a good fit, there's no chance of that happening. Success becomes probably something that will be never possible in that scenario. You are known as the cold calling slayer in the streets.
I don't know if you're just making that up, but I do like it. I don't know where you heard it, but it's true. I do consider myself the king of cold calls. All right. I am the king of cold calls. I have done hundreds of thousands of cold calls. And I don't care what agent out there who says that cold calls don't work, they work. I promise you they work, because I built my entire business on cold calls, on the back of cold calls.
Are you willing to back it up right now?
I'll back it up right now.
Cool. I'm a prospect.
Yeah.
What do you want me to be?
Okay, first we have to know what is the purpose of my cold call, okay?
Yeah.
So when I cold call, I'm not looking for a sale, all right? What I'm looking for is to build a relationship, because real estate is all about long-term relationships if you want consistency in real estate, okay? So it's all about, this is how I built my business. I pick an area that I want to become the master at. I pick a certain amount of homes within that area, and my mission is to get to know every single owner of every single property within that patch. I start picking up bits of business, and then I start letting every single person that I've built a relationship with know about every single thing that is happening in their area. Eventually, all those people come to know, like, trust everything about you. You become the master of the area. Everyone wants to sell with you. Your advertising, the amount of sales you're doing in that area, your profile blows up, and then everyone just wants to sell with you. You know everyone likes you, you've kept everyone in touch, you're selling everything. Why wouldn't someone want to sell with you? That's what all the great agents do, right? So the purpose of my cold call is not to call someone and find out, hey, are you thinking of selling? Of course, that's something that we can ask, but what you will find, if that is your intention of the phone call, is I need to find someone who's selling. You're just going to be bitterly disappointed after pretty much every cold call session, because the reality is, out of 1,000 homes, there's probably 1% of them selling right now. And there'll be another 1% of them selling in the next 3 months and another 1% of them selling 3 months after that. And people don't want to talk to an agent until they've made the decision, I'm going to sell my property, right? So what you want to do in real estate is create a relationship well before the time that they decide, hey, I want to sell. Because at that point, they make a decision that they want to contact someone. Now, if they don't have a relationship at that point, they're going to get sucked in by a piece of marketing, like a letterbox drop in their letterbox, like a pamphlet, or they're going to go through an open home on the weekend to check out a house that's in their street or something. They're going to meet the agent there. The agent's going to say, they're going to tell the agent, oh yeah, I'm probably going to sell my house soon too. I'm just checking out. And the agent's going to swoop in. He's going to get in the door and bang, he or she will likely close that business. And they got lucky because, and there's those opportunities around there, right? And as a real estate, we got to capitalize on those sorts of opportunities. But if they're the only opportunities you're going for, that's a catch and kill mentality. That's catching people in the moment and getting them. And yes, I got a quick listing, I got a quick sale. That's kind of just getting lucky. But also you got lucky because you had the skill to identify and capture it. But really great agents, they capture people well before that person's walking through that property. So then there's the other person that's going to sell, and they go over to that street over the road to look at that property because it's on the market and they're thinking of selling soon. And the agent says, oh, are you looking to sell your property, are you? And you know what you want that person to say? Yeah, but thanks a lot. I'm okay. I've already got an agent. All right, so that the purpose of my cold call when I'm calling is I want to become that agent that those people are already going to call when they come to the decision, I'm going to sell. They're already going, I'm just going to call Dan. There's no other choice. Dan's kept in touch with me for years. Dan's given me information for so long. Dan's always available. I've called him 2 or 3 times to ask him a question about the market, and he picked up or he called back, and he's never asked me for anything more. Of course, he's always offered, whether I'd like something, whether I want something, he's offered to update my house. He has updated the price of my house a few times over the years and asked nothing in return except, if I ever need anything, please reach out. I'm 100% going back to Dan. So that's the purpose of my phone call, to get an opportunity to build this relationship. And that relationship, it may be 2 months, 3 months, 2 years, 3 years before that person comes to sell. But if you do that with 1,000 people, right? Here's some quick statistics. The average, in the average suburb, the average around Australia, 7% of all properties sell every single year, right? Some more, some less in certain areas, of course. But if you take 1,000 homes and 7% of them are going to sell in the next 12 months, there's 70 listings out of 1,000 homes that are going to sell. If you know all 1,000 people, right? And that's the goal, and it'll probably never happen that you'll get to know every single one. But if all those 1,000 people knew who you are, know what you do, know where to find you, and you've done something for them in the past, and they know, like, and trust you, what's the chances you get an opportunity to talk to them about the sale of their house when it comes up?
Extremely high.
Extremely high. It's not a guarantee, but, you're going to get a very high proportion of those people that are either just going to come and list it with you, or they're at least going to give you a chance to pitch for the business. And you won't win them all, but you're going to win a good portion of them. And I worked out that out of 1,000 homes each year of me knowing and had regularly kept in touch, I usually ended up with about 32% of those listings would come to me. Okay? So out of 1,000 people that knew me, and it could have been better if I'd been better at keeping in touch. Like, those stats aren't even that great.
Yeah.
My conversion rate was really good. I would close 70% of
That's
opportunities I would get. Some just come to you and you just get them. And then others, you're up against other agents. You win some, you lose some. But I would get 70% if I got an opportunity. And some I wouldn't even tell me, and they'd list with another agent because they had a better relationship. But overall, out of 1,000, I would get 32%. So the purpose is to just grow that network of people as much as you can, And then have a way, and you need to do this with a team, of consistently nurturing these hundreds and even thousands of prospective future clients with information, relative information about their area, about the homes in their area, about what's going on in their market, and eventually they will, a good portion of them come back to you. So yes, that was a very long spiel to tell you how real estate works, but going back to the purpose of my cold call, it's not to ask you if you're selling, it's to get an opportunity to be invited into your life, to give you some information. And from there, once you're in my web, right? Once I've captured you in my web, which is my, well, that sounds a bit evil, captured you in my web. But once you've invited me in, I'm going to continuously feed you information for the rest of your life, right? Until you tell me to stop, or until you sell your property with me one day and unsubscribe from all of my stuff.
That's the right way to do it. And you're playing the higher chess level mindset game when it comes to cold calling, right? You're not thinking of today. You're thinking in the big picture, in the long term. How do I make sure that I provide so much value that it becomes a no-brainer by the time that they actually want to sell? And I'm gonna bring you back right now to the challenge.
Let's do the challenge.
I'm a prospect,
okay,
and let's just assume that I'm the 1% that I'm ready to sell. I wanted to sell yesterday.
Oh, you want to sell? This is going to be easy then.
Yeah, I wanted to sell yesterday, but I've been burned in the past.
Oh, you've been burned in the past.
I don't know you. I don't like you. I don't trust you. Nothing. I know nothing about you. But I want to sell, and I want to sell now.
Okay, great. All right, so we're going to call?
Call me.
All right, well, let's just say I've just sold a house around the corner. I'm always going to have a reason for my call, and then I'm going to make an offer. But first of all, I'm going to start off with an icebreaker, okay? Because I want to get you off guard. I don't want this call to sound salesy. And so whenever I introduce my cold call, I'm not going to go straight into who I am and what I do. I'm going to break the ice by doing something that takes this person off guard. Then I'm going to give them a reason for my call, which is going to be that I just sold a house around the corner and that's why I'm calling you. But really the second part of my call is going to make you an offer of finding out what your home is in the market today because of this fantastic sale that's just happened, right? You could then throw me an objection as to why you don't really need to know what your house is worth. I'm going to handle that objection and reclose you into a reason as to why you do need to know the value of your home, because it's very important for you to know the value of all of your assets at any given time. And eventually you're going to think, righto, if it's no trouble with this guy to give me an update on my home, I'm going to let him. That's how the cold call is going to work. However, if you're thinking of selling, you're probably going to have a different response. But let's just give it a go and see where it goes. Ring, ring.
Yeah, hello.
Is this Nelson?
Yeah.
Nelson, oh, I'm so glad you picked up. I didn't think you would, because it is a busy time of night and I really apologize for calling you at this time of night.
Wait, who's this?
Oh, Nelson, it's Dan Lee from Plum Property. I'm the local real estate agent that sells most of the property around the area. And look, I just want to say, first of all, thank you so much for your time. I really, really appreciate it. I know you're busy. And mate, I've just got a really important piece of information that I wanted you to hear.
What is that?
So I'm glad you asked. Thank you. It's just around the corner from your house at number 22. You wouldn't believe it, but we had that property on the market. Have you seen the sold sign?
Yeah, I've seen the neighbor. Yeah.
Yeah, mate, you should have seen what happened. We opened this house on the weekend. We had 50 people come through this house. And I was talking to the owner the week before and I was like, yeah, we'll get good interest. But mate, I couldn't keep up on the weekend. We had so many people through this house, and all the buyers that I've got on the books right now from this house, they want to buy either this street or the next street over. And mate, we ended up getting about 50K more for that house than the owner was expecting. And the owner, I'm gonna tell you a secret, the owner's expectations were pretty high. And we even got more than that. And anyway, look, regardless of that, I just wanted to see, first of all, do you know anyone else in your street that's looking to sell? Because, you know, I've got all these buyers that want to buy something.
Well, funny that you mentioned that. I actually been wanting to sell my house, and yeah, if I could, I would have sold it yesterday.
Oh,
but
really?
Yeah, I was gonna look for it today. So that's so interesting
Oh
that you
my
just
God, it
go.
looks like my call came at the right time. Well, this is going to be super easy for you, Nelson. I want to propose something to you. I've got all these buyers on the books right now looking for something. But first of all, before I even go into the process of telling anyone about your house, there's some really important information that you need to know. When you go to sell your house, what do you want?
I definitely want the biggest return.
You want the best
Yeah.
price for your home, right? Well, that's what I want to deliver for you. I want to get you absolutely the best price so that you're going to tell everyone on your street that I'm absolutely the best agent for the job. I'd love to come over to your house and talk to you about the process of how to create maximum exposure and competition on your house so I can get you as many offers as I can so that I can put us in the best negotiating position for you and push your price right up to the top level. Do you mind if I come over and talk to you about this for 5 or 10 minutes sometime this week?
Daniel, what you're saying there sounds really awesome,
Hmm.
but honestly, I don't know anything about you or your business. So
Absolutely. I
yeah,
know exactly how you feel. And I'm not coming over and telling you to sign everything. I'm asking you to let me over so I can show you exactly what we do in order to follow a process and get you the best price. If you didn't like me or trust what I do, I wouldn't expect you to work with me. But just like your neighbors did, and like many others in the neighborhood have, because I sell more than everything, they've understood the process that I deliver to get them the very best results. So before I ask you for anything, all I want to deliver to you is some information about how we're going to do it. And if you feel really comfortable with that, then you can make the decision to move forward with us. Or if not, you can go with another agent. That doesn't matter.
I mean, that sounds pretty fair, but I definitely need to speak to my wife about it.
100%. I mean, you wouldn't want to be sleeping on the couch for the rest of the week. I totally understand how you feel. Which part do you need to talk to your wife about? Like doing the business with us or just meeting with me?
I think a little bit of both. We've been burned in the past.
Mm.
We were promised things by our real estate agent in the past, and he
Mm-hmm.
didn't deliver. We didn't get the money. The returns were terrible. And my wife and I, since then, we just I don't know. We don't trust just someone that just call us to sell our biggest asset, man. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I'll need to chat about it with her, and see where it goes.
Yeah, absolutely. I totally understand where you're coming from, and I understand your concern there. Being burnt is not a good thing, and I would have my guard up as well. So what I'm asking, and this is the best way to do this, because I think I need to meet your wife as well, because the decision isn't just with you. It wasn't just you that got burnt; it was your wife. I would love to hear about this experience because it could have been something in the process that the agent did that led to you not getting the result that you were either promised or chasing. So I'd like to break that down and see exactly what was done and show you our process and how that will deliver you a better result. If you can give me 15 minutes, I mean, you don't have to go with me at the end of the day, but I promise you by the end of our meeting, you're going to have some really valuable information that will help your decision either way. Is that okay if I maybe come over sometime for 10 minutes? At the end of the day, you and your wife are still going to make the decision whether or not you want to work with me. I'm not going to hound you about that. If you don't see value in what I can deliver, then I don't expect your call. Okay? But you're not going to know if I don't get the chance to come over and meet you. Is that fair?
I mean, that sounds pretty fair.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool. Like, what time is your wife usually home, and what time do you think would be suitable for me to just pop over for 15 minutes with me and one of my crew that helps me to deliver this result?
I mean, I guess we could do tomorrow, 5 p.m.
Tomorrow, geez, it's my lucky week. I love that. Hang on a sec. Let me just check my schedule. All right, I do have another appraisal around the corner at quarter past and another one at 22. Look, I should be able to get there by 5. I'm just doing a couple of price updates for some other people in the area, but I should be able to get there for 5. You don't mind if I'm like 5 minutes late, do you?
No, no,
Like,
that should be fine.
yeah,
That
it's
should be
just
fine.
sometimes I just don't know how long these appointments are going to take. They could take 5 minutes or 10 minutes, and I don't want to like be real rude and rush out of someone's house all of a sudden. So I'll be there most likely on 5, but if I'm 5 minutes late, I'll text you. Is that okay?
Sounds
Awesome, mate.
good.
I really look forward to meeting you. What I'm going to do tomorrow, okay, there's going to be no decisions made. Okay, I'm just going to come with all the information you need. I want you to ask as many questions as you can. I want you to feel so comfortable with what we do that we can then go to the next step of talking about, moving forward together.
I mean, sounds good. All right.
Awesome. All right.
Say
Look
to me.
forward to seeing you then. I probably would have also got their email address and a couple other details and things like that. And then, obviously there's a follow-up process from then. So, an email immediately, a text straight away to say how happy you are to have the chance, a confirmation text the next day, possibly dropping something off on their doorstep with a pack of information about you. Do everything that I can to make sure that I can secure that business.
Hats off.
You like that?
That was. I'm telling you guys, honestly, I don't care what industry you're in. You need to go and listen to that and just break it down and change the entire context to your own industry. It is a pattern and it just works. And he helped me feel that I'm in safe hands. Even though I was feeling burned, I was really just trying to think of someone that has been burned. I'm like, no, that thinking of someone that is doesn't feel empowered to make a decision. No, I need to go and talk to my wife and whatnot. And he felt so confident in the way he was speaking. And this is one of the things that I've picked up on my own sales journey, is that there is an almost like underlaying confidence that you need to have that comes across the way you speak and when you're trying to get someone to get on board with what you're trying to sell or how you're trying to help them ultimately. Because he's just trying to help me make money and he will be rewarded by that as well. By his service. High-level sales in there, man. That was elite. Well done.
Thanks. But, the key to that is, I am good at those calls. But the reason I'm good at those calls, I am confident at it. I'm very confident on the phone. But the reason I'm confident on the phone is because I've practiced that hundreds of times, thousands of times. And with the cold calls, like getting the invitation into someone's door just to give them a price update, even if they're not selling right now, that takes 15 minutes of my time, but it's another relationship that I now own that can one day be future business. I practiced getting in people's doors over and over and over and over again. And I never let my ego get to a stage where I thought I'm too good for this. Okay. So many agents, they do cold calls for 1 to 2 years. They start getting some business and then they never do cold calls ever again. I did cold calls my whole career. I never stopped because that competence builds confidence on the phone. And that practice, even that practice with cold calls to get into someone's home, that's not necessarily, I see that as a sale, right? If you can turn someone around to just let them in your home, to give them some information about their house, that's a sale right there. You're not earning some money right now, but it's potential money in the future. And you do 20 appraisals for someone, for 20 different people, you might get a sale. Actually, you might find someone who's willing to sell right now on the 20th one, and you might make 20 grand for that one sale.
Yep.
Well, guess what? The last 20 appraisals you did, they're all worth $1,000 each.
Yep. Absolutely. And mastery comes from consistency and repetition. That right there, what you just did, it tells me you have done this for such a long time that you were able to just on the spot think of how to handle the situation the way it was going, and you had a backup. You knew how to come across as well as safe, even though I can't put a face to you. We're technically on the phone, but also if this was in person, you would know exactly how to do it because we're in person, and you even had, you were getting into the game, right, of how it will play out. Now, my question is, if you're the king of cold calling and sales, and I sold you as a client, does that make me the emperor of sales?
Well, the funny thing is that as a salesperson, I'm easily sold to. Okay, I love salespeople, and when I find a good salesperson, man, they get me. They latch on because I just love it. And you're good. You're good.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
You know how to sell. And
you weren't easy, by the way, because also you came to us with a big objection to handle for the level of clients that we work with, which is, oh, I already have the in-house videographer, so I can do it myself, but I just wanted to find out some information. And that one can be hard because I have to help you understand how your little camera guy, yeah, he's great, he's awesome that you have it and stuff, but this is a bit of a different thing that we're gonna
Yeah.
build, and is built with a lot of support and a lot of people. So yeah, I thought that was interesting. What are three pieces of advice that you will give to a 31-year-old entrepreneur?
Um, okay.
I'm 31, by the
You're
way, and
31.
I know that when I was listening to some of your podcast episodes this morning, you mentioned that you were between 30 and 31 when you went to do your own
Yeah, I
thing.
was 31 when I started my own. What a three piece of advice. I mean,
Yeah, let me just reword that. Three pieces of advice for a 31-year-old entrepreneur that is building an 8-figure business.
okay. Well, if I could go back to my 31-year-old self, I would definitely have looked after myself more health-wise. Like I've always been into health and fitness, but I think like now that I'm approaching 40, I'm taking that way more seriously and I feel way better for it. And that includes like not drinking much alcohol at all. Like I hardly ever drink now. And I wasted a lot of my 30s. Well, I didn't waste it, but I just drank too much, too much partying on the weekends, too many like drinking for just the sake of drinking, go to at a friend's house for dinner, drinking, at home on a Saturday night with my girlfriend, drinking, like always just, you know, and I think like alcohol is so ingrained in being normal, but it was actually quite taxing on me. And I didn't really realize it until I made the choice to just give it up for a while. And I realized that there were so many positive things that came out of just choosing not to drink. So that's an irregular one, but I'm going to throw that in there as being something that in the last 2 years has really changed my life, I think. Um, but other advice would be your like strengthen that mind every single day. You are going to go through some tough times. You are going to hate it sometimes. You're going to think, oh, should I have done this? You're going to get slapped in the face. You're going to get attacked by people. You're going to have haters. You're going to have your competition's going to do mean things to you. People are going to say mean things about you because you're stepping up to the plate and doing something like courageous, and people are going to try and knock you down. And you just got to stay strong, mentally fit, and know that like as long as you have good intentions for all the people around you, that's all that matters. All the other noise out there, don't fucking worry about it. I know in my heart, I have good intentions for my business and for all the people around me. And I just don't care what anyone else outside of that says or thinks about me, because that's the only people that it matters to are the people that are in my life. That's all that matters. The people that like what I do and believe in what I do, and they're on this journey to be part of it with me. That's what I care about. So keeping that mindset really strong and showing up every day. And thirdly, what's another good piece of advice? I would say never let your ego get in the way. All right. You start a business, and I see this with a lot of people. I've always tried to keep my ego in check. I don't like to be, I mean, not to say that you can't like nice things and everything, but it's how you do all of that. I'm not keeping your ego in check. Meaning don't, you know, always be humble. Always be humble. Understand that you have a gift that not everyone possesses. I have a gift some people don't possess. Some people don't have the gift of being courageous and doing something for themselves, and they'd probably love to, but they're not that person. And that's okay, because we need people like that. if everyone was an entrepreneur and everyone was successful, then no one would be successful because there would be no one there to be the solid pawn that just does the work every day. That's not a nice word for a person, but you know, just those solid foundational people that we need to have in our business that show up every day and do a certain thing that we need. Not everyone's the same, but that's how the world works. So, I mean, staying humble is the biggest thing. Don't let your head get too big, and always be a good person. I think that's just really, really important.
What's the worst piece of advice you have ever received?
The worst piece of advice I've ever gotten was someone telling me that I need to I need to be concerned about what people are thinking about me on social media. That was the worst piece of advice. And I listened to it for a second, but not for long. But it got me for a couple of days, and making me rethink how I like to do my thing, my personality on my social media. They made me rethink that. And I actually started to, go down a little rabbit hole of like, oh, because I'm a bit quirky and I'm a bit, I like to do funny skits and have a laugh and just be creative and things like that. And, someone gave me the advice once that maybe I need to, be a bit more professional and just show this kind of like, corporate. And I kind of started to listen to it. And I snapped out of it a few days later, but like that's the worst advice, right? Be exactly who you are on your social media and in your whole life. Don't try and be someone that you're not and be a fake. You're going to live an unhappy life and always be thinking, "Oh, how should I be doing something which isn't even you?" It's going to be unauthentic. It's not going to be you. You're not going to be proud of it. You're not going to continue doing it. You're going to try and avoid doing it because it's not you. And people love you because of what you are. Like, you are unique. You are special. I have a gift that I'm able to be in front of the camera and be comfortable with being a bit of a goof and making fun of myself. That's a gift that I've got. I've got to use that to my full potential. And to not do that would be an absolute shame.
What's the best piece of advice you have ever received?
The best piece of advice was when I was in the car with a friend and I was looking for my way out of that agency. I told you that I was in an agency for a while and I knew that I didn't want to be there because it wasn't the best place for me to be. Um, and I wasn't thinking that I should go out and start my own business, but I was driving around with this guy that I very much respect and who's quite successful, and he had total belief in me. And I was telling him like, "Oh man, I just don't have like anywhere else I want to go. I've checked out all these agencies." And he kind of just slapped me in the face, not physically, but mentally. Just said, "What the hell are you doing, Dan?" And I was like, "What?" And he said, "Mate, you're like the most unbelievable guy I know in real estate, and you have the best personality to just go and do it yourself and build your own thing. Like, why would you not go and do it yourself? That's absolutely what you're destined to do." And it was just light bulb when this guy said it. And I just went, whoa, holy shit. Like, I didn't even think of that. Like, it didn't even cross my mind. And I just like, he dropped me off at my house. And I was just like, wow, I could do it myself. What would that look like? And that took me down the self-discovery rabbit hole of like, wow, should I do this? And eventually I did. And then that ended up being the best decision I ever made.
That is super powerful, dude.
Mm.
It has been a pleasure to have you on the podcast. Dan, where can people find you, learn about you, listen to you, work with you? Tell them all.
Man, all right. Well, first of all, if you listen to Vibes Creative, they're the best. And if you're going to look at doing a podcast, go no further. You'll probably find my Insta handle at the bottom of the post, or if you're just looking for me, I'm Dan_Lee_Plum, PLUM, like the fruit, on Instagram. I post everything on there. Facebook as well, at Dan Lee Property, I think it is. And then I've got a YouTube as well. I'm not sure what that is though.
All the links will be down below.
All the links are down below.
And if you enjoyed this episode, make sure to subscribe, follow us across all social media platforms at The Creative Grid, at Creator Nelson, and I will see you on the next episode. Good vibes for everyone. My goal for this podcast is to help 1 million creative entrepreneurs make more money, have more impact, and create their ultimate reality. The best way for you to support this mission is by sharing the podcast with anyone you think will find it valuable. Leave a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, and follow us on all social media platforms at The Creative Grid and at Creator Nelson. I will see you at the top.